It's a kingdom. No, it's domino. No, it's Kingdomino. Kingdomino is a game of abstract strategy loosely based on domino. And for some people that maybe is a selling point. For me, it isn't really, because I don't like domino. I find it way too simple, way too linear for my taste. And that is one of the reasons why I haven't played this game until recently, although I had heard very good things about it. And I finally decided, oh, what the heck, I'll give it a try. So I purchased a copy for Christmas. I gave it as a present to myself and my family. And we'll be playing it together, and we have enjoyed it. I played it with my 7-year-old daughter. Even my wife, even mom, has been playing the game, and she enjoyed it, which is great. Usually she doesn't play games very often these days. She used to when she was less busy. But I have to say, one of her favorite games has always been Carcassonne, and this game somewhat has some similarities. Or at least that's what I told my wife, and she doesn't seem to have found anything to complain about that assessment even after playing the game. Each player starts with a castle, with a king or two, depending on the number of players, and with this little tile. You place your castle there, you get ready with your king or kings. Then you have this very nice set of thick tiles, very nice, coated, thick, sturdy, colorful, really good production values here. You shuffle them all together at the beginning of the game, and of course, as you can imagine, this is not really a deck that is easy to shuffle, so you just dump them on the table and just move them around and kind of like create a little bit of the shuffle effect. And then you select a number of tiles from that big pool that I showed you. Unless you're playing with 4 players, then you use all tiles. With fewer players, fewer tiles. And then you simply shuffle, shuffle, shuffle from the stack that will be used for the game. Then you draw 4 of these tiles randomly, and you see they have numbers here, and you place them in numerical order from lowest to highest, like this. Then you reveal them, and these are the tiles that will be assigned this turn to the players. Next, you draw the next 4 tiles, and you also place them face up in numerical order. This is important because pretty much that means that you can see 1 turn ahead what tiles will be available next time. Then you assign the tile to the first player. You assign the role the first player to one of the players. So what the player does is simply to place their king on one of the tiles available for this turn. And then the other players will go around. Then we will acquire the kings that we have placed. But the kings will be resolved in order from top to bottom. That means that in this case, the blue player will take this tile, will add it to their kingdom, and we'll see later how that happens. But before doing so, the player will place their king on another tile for next turn. Then yellow player goes, and yellow player takes this tile and wants to place it there. This other player goes here, and this other player goes there. So as you can see, the turn order will change from turn to turn. And then again, we take the next tiles and repeat the procedure. So very simple, very quick idea, very quick gameplay, very simple idea, but pretty effective because the fact that the tiles are placed in a certain order matters. The tiles that score more points are the ones with the highest numbers usually. That means that if I want to get that delicious tile, I'm gonna go last next turn, which means I will not have any choice as to the tiles that I get the following turn, because by the time I activate my king and I take my tile, the other 3 players will have placed their tokens on 3 of the other tiles, and I'll be left with whatever is left. So I really like the fact that if you go first, if you go late one turn and you get the good stuff, you'll be stuck the following time. Then maybe you'll get stuck with a tile that is not very valuable, but it's towards the top, and that means the following turn you'll have more choices and maybe you'll again go towards the bottom. So there is this interesting self-balancing mechanism there. As for the tiles that you place, once you take them from the area, you do need to place them. And you can place a tile adjacent to your starting tile, like so, or adjacent to other tiles that you place, as long as at least one of the terrains, say forest, is adjacent to a terrain of the same type. So this would be okay because it's forest with forest, forest with forest, still also forest with forest. It's okay if not all of them are adjacent to the same type, as long as at least one of the tiles, one of the terrains of the new tile is adjacent. But this, for example, would be an illegal placement. This one still okay because again, the initial tile is fine. As you acquire new tiles, so your kingdom will grow, and ideally you will place the tiles that you acquired in a configuration of 5 by 5. And who knows where your castle is going to be in that 5 by 5. It may end up being a corner, in the middle, on an edge. It is important also to remember again that 5 by 5 is the maximum size of your kingdom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I could not place this one here because now I'm creating a line of 6. But maybe you'd put it like this, and then like this, and then just an example. It's entirely possible that you will not be able to place all of your tiles because the configuration that you created, well, simply does not work. Simply does not allow you to place all of your tiles. Or it is possible that you would be able to place all of your tiles and you decide not to. You simply discard a tile. Like in this case, for example, as you can see, even if I take another tile and even if I have something that I could place it adjacent to, well, now I'm left without any spot to place it. The idea of making a 5 by 5 is nice. It's just the number of times that I fail to do so is very high. Other players don't seem to have that problem. It seems like for them the default is to make a square by 5 by 5. For me the default is not to make it. To each their own. So you continue like this until each player has received enough tiles to make a 5 by 5, whether or not they have been able to. And with the fact that you're not playing with all of the tiles, that means that pretty much you're assigning all tiles that are in play. Once all players have received all tiles and place them or try to place them in their kingdom, it is time to score. You will score each terrain or each piece of land that that comprises a single type of terrain. Here, for example, we have a piece of land with 2 mine squares. Here we have a desert, if that's a desert, or cornfields, by 3. Here we have a forest by 4. Here we have a lake by 2 and a lake by 3. They count as a single terrain if they're adjacent to one another orthogonally, not diagonally. How many points is each such terrain worth? Each piece of land is worth the number of squares that makes it, that forms that, times the number of crowns in it. So here we have 2 squares with 5 crowns, that is 10 points. 5 times 2, 10. Here we have 4 tiles of forest with a crown, so 4 points. 3 tiles, etc., etc. Suppose that, for example, I had this situation here, then now that lake would be worth 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, times 2 is 8 points. And if I don't have a crown, that is 0. That is 0 points. That forest there, for example, is 0 points because 2 times 0 crowns is 0. So you count points, which can seem a little laborious the first time that you do it, but it's really not that hard. and after you count points, the player with the highest total is the winner of the game. And this is how Kingdomino works. Very simple idea, but very effective, very enjoyable. While we talk, I just want to see if I can find a way. So even if I'm just putting them like this, I still can't figure out a way of doing a 5x5. How can other people do it? I don't know. They must have superpowers or something. So, Kingdomino, I just give up. Kingdomino is very simple, very linear, very intuitive, almost as simple as Domino, but a million times better, with more strategy, more decisions. I like the decisions that you're making when you are selecting your tiles, thinking about what you're getting now and what you set up yourself to be left with the following round. And so I like that swingy, that back and forth, the tempo that you have there. I definitely like the decisions that you make here, the little simple puzzle, which is super simple, super effective. If you know how to match two tiles of the same type, then you can play the game. But yet with some interesting decisions, and of course you're trying to go for not for a lot of lands necessarily. Sometimes one big land with 3 crowns, it's all that you need. And then you'll have a point here, a point there. But one big, huge mega land is what matters. Since it's about multiplications, the scoring system has a certain momentum of its own. A single crown is much, if you can add a crown to a territory, can be much better than to add 2 tiles to that territory, because that crown, if the territory is already 8, is giving you 8 points, as opposed to adding a tile with 2 may give you only 2 if you only have a crown. So the idea, of course, is to create momentum. Not all terrains are born equal. The mines are very valuable. As you can see, there are a lot of crowns there, and sometimes, yes, a single mine territory can be killer. And the first time or two that you play the game, that may almost feel broken. The player with all the mines always wins. Don't let a player get all the mines, since you know that a situation like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it has this 18 points right there. Since you know that this is killer, don't let them. So it's something that you need to be aware of. And once you know, once all players are aware, then you're not going to have any problem, because players are going to make sure that one single player doesn't get to hoard all of them. In fact, although I'm building my own kingdom and there isn't a mechanism that lets me attack yours, maybe an expansion, I don't know, just thinking about it. Although there isn't a way of directly attacking other people, I really think that there is a good deal of interaction here in the indirect competition for limited resources, because I want to get the stuff that I want, but I know exactly when I'm going to go next turn, and I'm getting a good sense of what you're trying to do, of what is the kind of piece that you really shouldn't have, because that triggers like a mega score makes. Maybe you have 2 forests that are like, 1 crown here, 1 crown here, and you attach them, there's going to be a mega forest with 2 crowns. I really don't want you to make that connection there. So the fact that every kingdom is visible encourages people to keep an eye on what other players are doing, and of course try to find the balance between what I need and what I want, and what I can take away from you, and try to prevent you from getting some really powerful combinations. Very nice idea. Really a family game in the purest sense. That is a game that adults can play by themselves, even when the kids are not around, and the kids can play when the adults are not around, and adults and kids can play together, with very good chances of having a balanced game. I play at the best of my possibilities against my 7-year-old daughter, and she still wins a very large number of times. And to me, this is what a family game is. It's really when 2 generations can play together, and the rules are simple enough that everybody gets them. The strategy is not too hard to grasp, but is still very interesting and very fun to implement, both for adults and for 7-year-olds. So really highest praise from me from Kingdomino. It's simple, it's light, it's a great filler. Anybody can play it. We had a lot of fun. The rules are super intuitive, but gameplay is it's you can understand the basics, but again, it's not trivial. It's definitely fun to implement, and the components also look really amazing. So absolutely happy that I finally purchased Kingdomino. I went past my skepticism, connected to the presence of the word domino. I should have thought about kingdom more than the domino. But again, I'm glad that the game definitely exceeded my expectations, because this is a really good, really fun family game. Highly recommended to anybody who likes light games, abstract strategies, or that is looking for a really engaging family game.